Hello everyone, Josh from MC2000 here, and today I've got another video for you all. Today we're looking at the first 3 of Benjamin Percy's Ghost Rider run. So, there's a new Ghost Rider run out, and it's also meant to be lining up with 50 years of Ghost Rider. That's right, Ghost Rider has been around for 50 years, hot damn. Okay, let's begin, shall we? So, it opens with, I must admit, I was quite confused by the opening at first, but it's not supposed to make sense. It's supposed to set off the alarm bells. Because it opens with Johnny explaining to the audience how he's had this car crash recently and he's feeling a bit scatterbrained. He's lost a lot of his memories. He can't quite make sense of it all. But you know, he's going to a therapist. He's seeing like the doctor. He's got pain medication for the headaches, and he's married to his childhood sweetheart Roxanne. He's got 2 kids. He's holding down a job, and there's most definitely no such thing as monsters. Now, you might be wondering, okay, this does not sound like a Ghost Rider book. Also, hang on a minute, wasn't Roxanne dead? Hasn't she been dead since, like, what, the 90s? And the answer to that is yes, she is dead. She has been. I think, if nothing else, she's been dead since the 2000s. I'm not sure about the 90s. I know Roxanne's been dead for a while. So yeah, that was kind of what set alarm bells off with me. The Roxanne and the 2 kids. It's like they're both dead. Like, his kids and Roxanne are dead. They've been dead for a very long time. Unless of course my first thought was, is this run taking place before that? Is it a prequel to the early 2000s run? I was thinking, okay, it would be a bit odd if it was, but I'm not complaining. I'll enjoy it if it is. But no, it turns out that it is actually, he's been held prisoner here. This is a nice, comforting illusion to keep the Ghost Rider in line. And he keeps having these hallucinations. He keeps seeing like monsters and demons and stuff. And like, he keeps like, you know, at first he's resisting it, but his brain is telling him, look, these hallucinations, they're not just in your head, this is real. Eventually, by the end of the first issue, the Ghost Rider comes out. He fights his way out of the town and he gets out of there. But before that happens, we're introduced to 2 new characters. They're working for the FBI. They're working on the paranormal side of the FBI. And so I think kind of like X-Files-ish. And essentially we have a straight-laced FBI officer that's all like numbers and like mathematics and like logical sense. And we also have a character that I can't remember her name, but she has this thing where like she just knows stuff. Like she's almost telepathic in a way, where if you're cheating on someone and you walk past her, like she will know. Like, you know, she talked about this time in later on in I think it's in the 2nd issue. She talks to him and she says, like, you know, there's this one occasion where she was drawing something in a class as a kid. The teacher says, "What's that?" And she says, "It's the cancer in your liver." And then 2 weeks later, the teacher's actually diagnosed with liver cancer. And the teacher's furious. She beats her like till the point her knuckles are bloody. Like, beats her over the knuckles with a ruler. And like, so she's essentially this very messed up person, because she like it kind of reminds me of weird. I'm not sure how to describe it, but yeah, she her design is very reminiscent of Flatline in a way. I'm not complaining. I actually I think her character's interesting. I just wish she didn't carry a tarantula around with her, because like, well, the opening scene, you see her, someone asks, "Do you have an appointment?" and she opens up a hand and shows her a tarantula. Like, as an arachnophobic, I didn't particularly enjoy that bit. I'm not too keen on spiders, so to be honest, it would. She's looking for Ghost Rider with this FBI guy. It would actually be kind of funny if when Ghost Rider catches up to her, he just burns it, and she's like, "Oh, Jerry, why?" I don't know, maybe as someone who hates spiders, I just think that would be quite funny. But so essentially, Ghost Rider's there's the second issue, we find out there's an issue with Blaze's powers. Normally what happens in Ghost Rider is when he transforms, he still keeps some level of control unless he gives it over to the rider. He also remembers what happens when he's the rider, you know, because they can sometimes argue about it, and he can also, the 2007 run, he could hear the rider in his head and he could actually have arguments with it. Like the actual like demon that is the rider, Xanatos. Like, you know, in this it's a little bit different. Something's happened to them and it's keeping them firmly separate. Johnny's Johnny and Ghost Rider's Ghost Rider, like two very separate entities. And when he transforms, he just blacks out and he doesn't remember what happens. He just wakes up 2 days later and he's like, what? Why is my hand covered in blood? Why am I in the side of the road? Why am I in a ditch? What? Okay, what's going on? This is weird. But essentially, the line of thought is he has this scar on his head, and you keep seeing like eyes and teeth and like demonic stuff in it. So the line of thought is that they've done something to Johnny, something that is causing his Ghost Rider powers to whack out a little bit. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of They Live, where like a lot of the demons we've seen in this book, just they're not straight demons. They are kind of like they're hiding in plain sight, like they're pretending to be humans. I mean, like one of the ones he kills in the first book was pretending to be Roxanne. Yeah, so it's one of those. I must admit, it's a strong start, and I'll be interested to see where this goes. I'll be covering the other issues in the future. Definitely interested to keep this one on my pull list, but it's Ghost Rider, and I like it, so like, you know, that's not really a big surprise. Benjamin Percy, I've not heard of this guy before actually. I think I'm going to look him up after this, because I'm curious to see what else he's written. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this one. I figured to myself I'll try and keep this nice and brief, considering the some of the other videos I've done before this have been quite long, especially that Shadow War one. I'm planning to put this one up after Shadow War, honestly. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.